Wrap me in a bolt of lightning, send me on my way still smiling. Maybe that's the way I should go, straight into the mouth of the unknown. I left the spare key on the table, I never really thought I'd be able to say I merely visit on the weekends. I lost my whole life and a dear friend. I've said it so many times.
Is your team getting over the bug?
Yeah, I think most of the guys are pretty healthy right now.
I assume you try to treat this like any other week. So how do you accomplish that both personally, since that you're new to this part of it, and you have a lot of guys in the locker room with kind of the same boat?
I think it's pretty easy, to be honest with you. I mean, our preparation's been the same as it is every other week this season, and I know our guys are looking forward to it. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of outside noise, and we just got to go about our business, trust our process, and do what we've been doing all season long.
Matt, I know when we asked you about kind of moving Z along the defensive line, you compared him to Clowney in Houston. How have you seen Seattle use him?
Well, they haven't used him as exotically as maybe they did in Houston, but it's a totally different defense, and I think he's been equally as effective, though. I mean, when he's in there, he's a game changer. You always got to account for him because he can wreck a football game.
Now, what's the challenge with DK Metcalf?
Just a big, physical, fast, young receiver who I think is going to be a really, really good one.
How are your players feeling health-wise going into this game? Reports that there are some illness going around the locker room, and also like physically going into this game as well.
Yeah, I think we should be ready to roll. That was a good week off for guys to recover and get back and kind of get your mind fresh and re-energized. And we know we have a great opponent coming in here and a team that's done really well on the road. So we've got to be at our best to beat them.
Matt, a year ago today, you were making your way to Green Bay after getting hired here as head coach. What memories, maybe a year later, stick out the most about that span of a few days where you were hired, flown in, and then introduced here?
That was already a year ago, man. No, it's been a fast year. There's no doubt about it. And when I think back at it, I really haven't given much thought to it, to be truthful. Somebody mentioned it to me yesterday, and I was like, I guess that was a year ago. The time has flown by, and you know, we've done a lot over the last year, and it's been a really fun process.
Coach, when you have this much time to prepare for essentially a late game on Sunday, so you're coming off the bye, you have 2 weeks, how do you manage the daily emotions of it? You know, are they going to be too high? Are they going to come out low? You know what I mean? How do you manage that at this stage?
I think it just goes back to doing what you always do, and it's just like every other week. And you know, I think for guys that maybe haven't experienced the playoffs, there's definitely more a heightened intensity around it, I think. But as far as your process, as far as how you go about your daily business, I think it's got to be the same as it is any other week.
You've always been great on offense, but your red zone has been pretty consistently good all year. What do you think the key to that's been?
I just think it's totally game to game. Some of it's having a really good plan. Some of it's just having better execution. So that's stuff that we'll get into and really take a look in the off season. How can we become more consistent in every phase?
What do you need from Harry this week?
Just to do his job, just like every other player out there. That's something we talked about. You know, you don't want to try to do too much. I think you got to let the game come to you and just knowing your responsibility, knowing what's expected of you, and trusting not only yourself, not only your training, but your teammates around you. I mean, everybody's got to do their job. They got to do their 1/11th.
Matt, during that stretch when you were at Atlanta, did you learn a lot about game planning in the playoffs and not trying to, you know, overdo it, try to go back too far, or are there limitations, and are those things that you have been cognizant of this week, as how much to do on each team?
Yeah, I think, you know, when you get to this point in the season, there's just so much tape out there, and how much stock do you really want to put into stuff that has maybe happened earlier in the season? You know, everybody evolves. So I think you got to be careful of that. Certainly we look at We try to look at everything we can, but, you know, and you've also got to be mindful of what got you to this point, and trying to stay consistent with who you are as a football team.
Do you find that in the playoffs, it's pretty much teams just strength against strength? They do what they do best and try to stick with that?
Yeah, I think so, but I also think that obviously there's game planning that's going to go on. I think you know, the one thing you got to be careful of is when you have extra time is, are you sticking to what got you here? But my experience in Atlanta was great. You know, just learning from Dan Quinn how he approached everything. It was hey, every game from the regular season to the playoffs, every game was a championship mindset, and that's the same approach that we've taken with our football team here.
How is Russell Wilson different than other quarterbacks that you've had to strategize for this year?
Yeah, he is one of a kind in terms of his ability to create and extend, and you know, just you can never assume the play's over. He has got an uncanny ability, even when he's wrapped up, he can get out of things. So I've had some experience going against him in the past, and he sure does keep the game interesting.
Hey Matt, when you look at Wagner and Wright, what do you think has enabled those two to kind of still be as effective, you know, as they've been now, whatever it is, 8-9 years into their career at this point?
Well, I think they're exceptional athletes. I think they know exactly what they're trying to do. I think they do a great job of knowing what the opponent tries to do. I think they study the game. You can see how fast they diagnose things. If you give them a tell, they're going to take it, and they're going to use it to their advantage. And you can see it all over the tape, the way they trigger and play certain concepts, or, you know, they're exceptional players. They're two of the elite at their position.
Do you know Pete Carroll at all, or well even?
I don't know him very well, no.
Okay. Can you imagine coaching when you're 68?
I don't know. That seems like a long time from now, so we'll see. He's sure doing it, and I'll tell you what, he's got a lot of energy too, and he's done it for so long at such a high level. I've got a lot of respect and admiration for him, just what he's been able to accomplish throughout the course of his career.
Do you see that energy from him filter down to his players? I assume that players tend to take the lead of their coach.
I think so, absolutely. He's got a ton of energy, and he likes to chomp on that gum pretty hard too. And but no, he's an exceptional coach.
Imagine that Kyle might be a little difficult to get a hold of this week, but is Sean giving you any pointers, any advice on what it's like to coach against him, Pete?
Yeah, you know, I've talked to him a little bit, but you know, I'm not going to get too much into that. I tell you what, we've got a great staff here, and you know, just really rely on the guys that are in our building.
Matt, how do you prepare for a guy like Lynch, where everybody knows obviously who he is, but he's only played a couple of games for them this year, just kind of getting back into it?
Well, I just think it's with any running back. I think Marshawn's done it at such a high level for a really long time. He's one of the backs that there's not too many guys that run harder than he does. And I think that's a big reason why he's always getting yards after contact. And he's a load, and you know, you don't really realize it until you see it in person a bit. But just the effort that he brings on every play is second to none.
He hasn't produced that much since coming back. What is the challenge of a guy at that position, taking time off, coming back at this stage in his career, and does he look like himself?
Yeah, I just think it takes time. Anytime you take that long of a layoff, and I think you're just going to see him get better and better, and we're going to get the best version of him this week.
Are you going to go outside today?
We will do a portion outside.